right off the top, America decides, and the first presidential debate of the 2024 campaign cycle is in the books. Good evening. I'm Jim Barry.
And I'm Naja Sherman. Thank you for joining us. We want to get right to CBS News Miami's Jim DeFede. He joins us with some analysis. Jim, this was a big night for Governor Ron DeSantis. So how do you think he did?
It was an important night for Ron DeSantis, that's for sure. You know, after struggling with his campaign for recent months, this was seen as an opportunity for him to sort of reinvigorate his campaign. But, you know, he did fine. But the problem is that when you're on a debate stage with 7 other people and several of them do better than you, you tend to get lost in the mix. And I think that's the problem that Ron DeSantis had. You know, he had a number of well-rehearsed lines that he delivered, some of them better than others. But it seemed like, given the nature of the debate, he was uncomfortable trying to elbow his way in and seemed uncertain at times. You know, Vivek and Nikki Haley, even Mike Pence were far more forceful in sort of getting in there and really forcing attention on them, as opposed to DeSantis, who seemed unclear, a little uncertain at times. There was one moment in particular that I think almost captures and embodies the problems that DeSantis has in his campaign, and that was when the host asked the question as to whether or not if the candidates would support Donald Trump to be the nominee if he was convicted, not just indicted, but convicted of a felony. And I think we have that clip. Let's play it.
You all signed a pledge to support the eventual Republican nominee. If former President Trump is convicted in a court of law, would you still support him as your party's choice? Please raise your hand if you would.
Now, I think what is telling there is when you watch how Ron DeSantis dealt with that question, Mike Pence answers last, but he hesitates. DeSantis hesitates, looks both ways down the line, sort of sees how everyone else is answering, and then sheepishly raises his hand saying, yes, he would also support. It's that tentativeness that I think is indicative of a lot of problems he has. Does he support Trump? Does he not support Trump? Does he want to attack Trump? Does he want to try to prove that he's the better candidate than Trump? And I think that moment in the debate was a weak one for DeSantis because it seemed like a half-hearted answer and really goes to the heart of the problems that he's been having overall in his campaign.
All right, Jim, well, I'm going to raise my hand now and ask you a question. Was this a game changer for anybody, do you think? And how does it change the dynamic of the race going forward?
You know, I would say that it doesn't. I mean, I think that none of those people on stage, I'm not sure if you were a Republican voter in Iowa or New Hampshire or South Carolina or any of the early states, that if you watched this debate, you saw someone and said to yourself, I like that person over Donald Trump. I think the Donald Trump core is still intact. I don't think any of them made a case that will change the dynamic. And if anything, I think Donald Trump was the big winner last night because the field, the other 8 candidates, are so muddled now. And I think that you're going to see Vivek Ramaswamy, I think you're going to see Nikki Haley rise up a little. DeSantis will either hold the same or maybe slip a little in the polls. And Donald Trump is just going to remain ahead, 30, 40 points ahead. And if that's the case and this race continues to be muddled for everyone else, that helps Donald Trump and is exactly what we saw in 2016 and how he got the first Republican nomination.
Mm-hmm. And Jim, I thought one of the standout points of the debate was the exchange between Vivek Ramaswamy and Nikki Haley and their exchange on foreign policy. How do you feel that they performed in the debate?
Oh, I think they did. I think they did well, respectively. I think that Vivek Ramaswamy, comes across. Let's call it what it is. He comes across as sort of a tech bro, and I think that there is a element within the MAGA core that likes that. that will respond well to that. I think if you're younger, if you're male, and you're a Republican, I think you like what Vivek Ramaswamy is saying. But then again, if you like it in Vivek, you like it already in Donald Trump, so I don't know that you're going to switch. Your point about Nikki Haley is a really good one. In a lot of ways, Nikki Haley showed that she was the only real adult on that stage. She talked about issues in a way that I thought was very strong, in the sense of the way she dealt with the issue of abortion, dealt with spending and blaming Republicans as well as Democrats, and even issues related to Ukraine. I thought that she really articulated a vision that can resonate. The problem is, it's not where the Republican Party is right now. That was the Republican Party of maybe John McCain and George W. Bush and even Ronald Reagan. I'm not sure that's the Republican Party of today. So while I think Nikki Haley will help herself among those who do not want Donald Trump to be the Republican nominee within the Republican Party, I'm still not sure it's enough.
Yeah, well, they'll be back at it again next month, in fact. So we'll see how it portrays then. All right, thank you so much.
Smaller field, though. It'll be smaller, though. There will be fewer people on the debate stage because the criteria gets harder, and so I think instead of 8 people on stage, you'll probably only see 4 or 5.
And will Trump show?
And will Trump show, exactly.
Yeah, he might be busy. We'll see. All right, thank you so much, Jim DeFede.